Hey guys, Brostorm here, and today we're going to be going over strategies and how to set up your team for Rira GT3. This video is just going to be for beginner teams that have just started up, or you just want a couple tips and tricks that can help boost your team and your performance. Now I won't be giving out advanced strategies, but I will be giving out beginner strategies. Just simple stuff that I think most teams should know. So for example, today we're gonna use the Corvette racing team. Um, so Corvette racing team owner, I don't know if you're watching this, but if you are, congrats. You get a free team. um, so the beginning stages of what I would do to set up my team would be to honestly step one to get some drivers. Obviously, like that's probably the most important part about racing, drivers. So we're gonna go ahead and pull up our notepad here. Go, got the trusty notepad. Make sure we got a good font. Yep, we do. All right. So, step one, uh, get drivers. I recommend getting at least 3 drivers. Um, and I recommend getting at least 3 drivers. Now, once you get 3 drivers, don't keep recruiting drivers. Okay. The way I would set up my team is by first step one, getting drivers. Step two, oh crap, I can't type. Step two, get race engineers. All right. Now, if you don't know what race engineers are is they are the guys that will watch over the race, get performance, look at the stats. They will pretty much just look at the whole grid and see how you guys are performing towards everyone else's and make predictions and make race strategies for y'all. So, for example, like during a race, the team race strategies, we don't have any times up right now, but they would be looking through this whole grid and looking at the times, seeing where you guys are, seeing how well you guys are placing, and making assumptions off of that. All right. So, get race engineers. Okay. Now, race engineers can also double as pit crew when you're pitting, so you can have a race engineer go out, gas up a car or something. Or, honestly, what you could do is having your drivers become race engineers when they're not driving. Because if you don't know, drivers do swap out in GT3. So the drivers that aren't actively driving, they could become race engineers. As a little tip for y'all, I would recommend doing that. Another thing. Now, step three. Now, this is what I would do for step three. Start getting some managers, okay? And this is where the last step is going to be. Get managers. Um, now what you could do for managers is this is where we might be splitting off from in real life GT3 setup. And obviously this is Roblox. We're a Lego game, okay? It doesn't have to be perfectly realistic in how you set up your team. It's what I would do. Um, this is what I would do if I actively own a whole team. Um, get managers. You could have managers for specific cars. So for example, you could have 2 managers, one on each car. Um, now, but you could also call these managers. They're also called, I think, lead engineers, head engineers, something like that. Race engineers, something like that. Whatever you want to call them. What they're pretty much doing is these are the guys who actively talk to the driver. Um, Now we're gonna go set this up in Paint, so you guys can get a view of what it looks like. But get managers. I'm gonna just put head engineers. What these head engineers are gonna do is they're gonna be the guys who actively talk to your driver. If you ever watched F1 and you ever heard the people talking to the F1 drivers, so like I don't know, the most famous thing I can think of is Lewis Hamilton talking to some, oh no, my tires are gone. Well, when he's talking to him, he's talking to his head engineer, and that's the guy who is pretty much informing Lewis or informing your racer of everything that's going on. Now, the head engineer has a lot of jobs. We're gonna go over this actually. um, head engineer is gonna have a whole bunch of jobs. Okay. His first job is one, obviously talking to the driver. Um, Two, informing of any track conditions. So so he's gonna be informing him of track conditions. So example, if there's like a car that spun off to the left, or I don't know, anything that would come up in that area. And then two, oops, I didn't want to type that. Number three, team orders. So let's say the team order. So for example, we're actually gonna do examples. Hit slash box. If you guys don't know, boxing is called pitting. So pit, box, stuff like that. So head engineer is gonna inform of track condition, team orders, to inform. Um, and then number three, updating, updating race status. So, what that means is example of like a safety car, um, yellow flag, um, green flag, etc. Basic stuff like that. Okay. We're actually there. Um, so that's pretty much what the head. Uh, we're gonna updating driver of race status. So that, so that's pretty much what the head engineer is gonna do. He's gonna talk to a driver, inform track condition, inform team orders, and updating driver of the race status. Pretty much your just go-to guy to talk to the. Now you can have two of these, one for each driver, or you can have one for both drivers. Up to you. Now, now we're gonna go into paint. So there we go. Now we're gonna go ahead and gonna use yellow for Corvette. Okay. So let's say we're gonna put the team principal right here. All right. You know what? I don't feel like fucking this out. We're gonna go ahead, just boom. Team principal right there. Easy. Yep. Um. So what might happen is that you have the team principal up here. Okay. Let's see. Let's tech team principal. Okay. Pretty easy. Oh shit. Oh, that's fucking embarrassing. Yeah, y'all didn't see that shit. Y'all never saw. Okay. So back to what I was saying. Let's say you got the team principal up here at the top. It's gonna branch off. Okay. Um, Now let's say each branch is for one driver. Okay. You're gonna have your you're gonna have your head engineers right here. Okay. You're gonna have each head engineer. Head engineers are gonna be in charge of the cars, pretty much. Okay. Now each head engineer is probably gonna have multiple. Um. Actually, first we're just gonna go to the head engineer. Then we're gonna go down to the driver. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and just put black as right. We're gonna have black as the driver. So we head engineer, driver, and then it's gonna split off into your, I don't know, whatever you want to call these guys. You can call them fucking um you can call these guys your uh mechanics, you can call them your strategists, your just normal race engineers. You could just call them regular race engineers and have these guys as your head engineer. Um, Now obviously this is a terrible drawing. Probably looks terrible. You guys probably didn't take anything away from this. I will go over this again. So up here, team principal. This is like your number one dude. This is you. If you're a team principal, you know who you are. You own the team. You got your team principal up here. Then You got your two head engineers in your green. You got your drivers coming down, and each driver can have, I don't know, race engineers that will look over track conditions, track time, stuff like that. And then your head engineer will inform the driver of anything that's going on talked about in the notepad right here. All right, we're going to go back to our notepad. And so that's pretty much your basic setup, okay? That's literally like the easiest setup you could probably have. It's the quickest setup you could have. Um, it's probably you could probably run a team off of, let's see, if you're including drivers, you could have, let's say, 3 drivers per car. Let's just let's just start with one car. If you're having three, you could have 3 drivers up to a car, okay, and then you could have 3 race strategists. So that's 3 drivers plus 3 race engineers plus a head engineer. That's 7 people. All you need is 7 people on your team, and you could have a super efficient team. And honestly, 7 doesn't sound like a lot if you think about it. And it may be like a lot, but honestly, it isn't. You could easily get 7 members on your team if you go to GRP. If you don't know what GRP is, look it up in Roblox, Group Recruiting Plaza. It's going to be the first option that you see. Go on GRP, make a booth, advertise, advertise, advertise. If you have friends, get friends on your team. You just have Discords you can advertise in. Go ahead and advertise in those Discords. It's just all about getting your name out there. Because, obviously we don't have that much fans within our Discord, so you can recruit within there, but it's going to be limited. Um, if you guys go to Group Recruiting Plaza, you guys will get more people on your team. Next, we're going to go against, actually, my bad. We're going to go over race strategies, okay? So, we're just going to go ahead and close this off. All right. So, next up, we have our race strats. So for our race strat, uh, what you want to do is, one, you can pit, uh, when pitting, go ahead and switch drivers. So when pitting, switch drivers. Pretty self-explanatory. Um, just it's the fastest way to get drivers refreshed, uh, refueled, stuff like that. Okay. Next up, we're gonna do. Let's see. Another thing. We're gonna go back to what we were saying. Race strats, 3 drivers a car. Now, obviously, this is optional, but this is a race strategy that I would use. Oh shit, look who joined. Yes. 3 drivers per car. All right. Now, uh, another thing, race strat. Have at least 2 race engineers per driver, or actually, no, 2 race engineers per car. There we go. And then, you know what? Before that, I'm gonna say 3 drivers per car, and then 1 head engineer per car. There we go. So honestly, you could make an efficient team off of just only 6 people. Think about that. That's pretty crazy. All you need is 6 people on your team, and you could have an efficient team running perfectly. So 3 drivers per car, 1 head engineer per car, 2 race engineers. All right. Um, if you want to take a screenshot, you can take a screenshot of that, and there we go. All right. So we're gonna go actually to Roblox now, and we're just gonna talk about race strats. Okay. Um. So there we go. We're just gonna do. Oh shit. I want to say E. Um. So we're just gonna use this little area right here. All right. So if you guys don't know already, safety cars is the perfect time to pit. Actually, we're gonna go ahead and pull up our notepad again so you guys can see. Um. Hit during safety car. Now, If you are towards the end of a race, that might get a little risky. We're gonna go ahead and move that down. It might get a little risky if you're pitting towards the end of a race because you might lose precious time. It's up to you. But if you're in the beginning of the race, you can pit during the safety car. Okay. Um, Another thing is that for endurance races, don't push too hard. It's an endurance race. It's about finishing the race. It's not about winning in the first 10 laps. It's about winning a whole 3 hours of racing. So that's pretty much just that. Okay. Another thing, pitting during a safety car. So example, if you guys see my cursor right here, let's say the safety car is coming out the pit right here. Well, the safety car will always come out the pits right here. Okay. And when he's coming out the pits, obviously you're not gonna be right behind him unless you get really unlucky and you're like coming down the main straight and he comes out. But if you're in front of the safety car, you have to catch up to the pit queue. And when you're catching up to the pit queue, you can you can't race at full speed, but you can go to a pretty good speed. And what that pretty much means is um let's see, another good example. Um you could race to full speed, get some gain some speed during the safety car, pit, and then after you pit, just catch back up to the queue. And you won't lose that much time because everyone's bunched up now that it doesn't matter if you pit or not. Um, so that's what's gonna happen with that. So I recommend pitting during safety cars. And oh shoot, we got Lucas racing. Um, so that's one strategy. Another strategy is always you don't always have to fuel when you're pitting. Um, if you're pitting just for tires, and let's say you're pitting with even half fuel, you don't even have to. I recommend doing it, but you don't have to. It depends, okay? It depends on the race situation. If you're towards the end of the race, you don't have to pit for fuel. And by the way, the gas can always refuels to 100% fuel, so be aware of that. And really, that's all I got for just the beginning setting up of a team. Um, what the team does, what you can do, just pretty much everything that has to do with that. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, just hit me up in DMs on Discord. I'll answer as quick as possible. And I think that's all from me. I hope y'all have a blessed day and good luck with your Rira racing.